Here for PHLY, I am Fran Duffy, here to share my thoughts after watching the film of the Eagles' decisive win over the division rival New York Giants. Now, before I get to writing, I thought I'd jump on here and share my thoughts with you. And we'll start on the offensive side of the football, where obviously we have to start with Saquon Barkley, number 26. The revenge game for him going up against his former team in the Giants, and what he did on the ground was just outstanding. And there was some great blocking up front, some great running from Saquon Barkley. And to me, the thing that stood out was just their ability to find ways to get him in space, a lot of yards before contact in this game for Saquon Barkley, but also he's obviously creating a lot of that yardage for himself. And so we get to see kind of both phases. And to me, this is exactly what Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, that entire Eagles organization had in mind when they signed Saquon Barkley in free agency, was how he could lift the ceiling of this run game and really take it through the roof. And he has been outstanding so far through the first handful of games for this Eagles offense. And to me, the catalyst of what the Eagles are doing offensively right now, especially over these last couple of games. So we'll take a look at Saquon Barkley. They mixed in some Ben Van Sumeren plays there as a fullback. The second-year linebacker out of Michigan State did an outstanding job, or out of Michigan did an outstanding job of creating some holes for Saquon Barkley at the point of attack. I thought they did some really creative things schematically with Ben Van Sumeren, and we'll break some of those plays down as well. And then looking at Jalen Hurts, an uneven performance for Jalen in this football game. Obviously only 14 pass attempts, but well over 20 dropbacks in this game when you factor in the sacks and the scrambles. And it was an uneven performance. Obviously an outstanding throw to A.J. Brown on the 41-yard touchdown. It was a 4th-and-3 play, bucket throw, vertical, down the sideline. Outstanding play, but I would say overall, it was not the strongest performance. I might make the argument that it was probably his weakest performance so far in this 2024 season. Now, he didn't turn the ball over, which is great, but I'll get into some of the things that we saw from Jalen Hurts in the passing game in my breakdown over on ALLCITY.com. Now, the defensive side. I'm going to write about the defense on Tuesday. And to me, obviously, you got to start with the 8-sack performance. A bunch of players chipping in there, both from the front line and from the second level. Nakobe Dean with a couple of sacks. And honestly, he's the second guy I want to focus on. Nakobe Dean did an outstanding job, obviously as a blitzer, what he did coming downhill in the Vic Fangio pressure scheme. And oftentimes when he's running downhill to get after the quarterback, you have defensive ends dropping out. You saw Nolan Smith dropping out, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. And so the Eagles don't lose any bodies on the back end in coverage, but they still are able to get pressure, create some favorable matchups, even some run-throughs for the linebacker, Nakobe Dean. He did an outstanding job in this game. And it wasn't just Nakobe as a blitzer, because I also thought that Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship, Quinyon Mitchell, a lot of these guys did an outstanding job in coverage. And we know the best pass rush is always married with really sound coverage on the back end. And I thought that this really showed up in this game. And it wasn't always on the sacks or on the pressures, but even on the backside of plays, balls that were completed to the left, you look on the right side and see how those guys in the back seven are communicating and passing things off. A number of really good examples. And this is a big improvement, because just a couple of weeks ago against the Bucs, this was a weak point of that back seven. I thought there were too many guys running free across the middle of the field or running downfield where there was nobody in their vicinity. That was not the case here in this game against the Giants. The Eagles defense did an outstanding job of really closing the distance there. The communication, the execution was outstanding on the back end. And I really think we should point out Nakobe Dean and Cooper DeJean, namely, on the back end. I thought he did an outstanding job in this game of doing that. We didn't see the same the number of blitzes and pressures from DeJean in this game, but I thought he did a great job in that area. So a lot to cover. We'll be breaking it all down here on allphly.com. I'll be on the PHLY Eagles show right here on the Eagles YouTube channel as well, breaking it all down with Bo Wolf and Zach Berman. Not just Tuesday, but also Thursday as well. We're getting ready for next Sunday's matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals.
We all silly like the mayor.